Welcome to my views on news, another video for you. First news story is about Debretsion Tigray's president, who released a message today for Tigrayans, for Ethiopian government, for international community. He talked about capabilities of Tigray Defense Force. Secondly, PM Abiy today held a telephonic conversation with the Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister. Moussa Faki, African Union's chief, is due to visit Canada, I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So what is Canadian role? Does Canada have any role in the ongoing Ethiopian peace process? Is Canada playing the role of a guarantor between Tigray regional government and Ethiopian federal government? Because since yesterday we have been hearing rumors that TPLF leaders who are in South Africa might not return to Ethiopia and they could be flown to Canada. Firstly, Debretsion Tigray's president, released a message today through Tigray-backed news sources. What did he say? Debretsion is in Tigray, firstly, as we reported in the previous video, that he is not part of the delegation which is in South Africa to talk with Ethiopian federal government. I have been saying for days that TPLF, TDF leadership will not surrender. It will not flee Tigray. It has been my consistent position. And I am basing my analysis on what we saw in the first phase of the conflict. When both TPLF, TDF came under immense pressure. They did not give in. They kept on fighting. So Debretsion is not fleeing Tigray, not fleeing Ethiopia. Getacheau's house hit in a twin drone strike. He narrowly escaped. Still, you see, he is in South Africa, and you'll see he'll return to Ethiopia as well. These Tigrayans, TPLF, TDF leaders, they have this conviction, right or wrong, they have this conviction that this fight is fight for their survival. That Tigrayans will be wiped out if they don't resist. That is why they won't surrender, they won't flee the country. So, Debretsion spoke today. He mentioned some points in his message. Firstly, he said that the war is against Tigrayans, that invading forces want to exterminate all Tigrayans. This is the narrative which is Tigray's official position since the start of this conflict in November 2020. And Ethiopian federal government could not counter this narrative because Ethiopian federal government alienated Tigrayans not only in Tigray but outside Tigray as well. So that is why perception is still there, in Tigray at least, that the war is against Tigrayans. Secondly, he talked about capabilities. He said Tigray forces are fully capable of defending Tigray's territories. Especially talked about young Tigray fighters, that youth have joined Tigray Defense Force in large numbers. And this youth will lead this war, this fight for survival. Ethiopian federal government today released a statement saying that military capabilities of Tigray forces were being degraded. So in a way, Debretsion answered Ethiopian government today that capabilities are still intact. If you analyze Debretsian's claim, I wouldn't say that TDF is fully intact. But I can't say that TDF has been dismantled, considerably weakened either. TDF has suffered losses, but it is still united. Still there is unity of command. Yes, its defense lines collapsed, but it has ability to wage guerrilla war for months and years perhaps in central Tigray. Thirdly, he talked about the forces which have entered Tigray. He claimed that those who entered Tigray are not roaming around freely. They're being buried in Tigray. And Tigray will be a graveyard for invaders. That is what Tigray leaders have been saying for days, that Tigray is a graveyard for invaders. So once again, he said the same. We don't know what is happening in terms of TDF's counterattacks on EDF and ENDF. We have not seen any statements from Tigray government, official statements. Are they carrying out attacks? Which types of losses are being inflicted on EDF, ENDF by Tigray fighters? So there is overall a silence on the part of Tigray government, just a claim. Maybe in some detailed briefing by Debretsion, we could see details about the claim made by Debretsion that EDF, ENDF are suffering heavy losses. So basically, Debretsion's message is for morale boosting. Tigrayans under pressure. They are losing ground. They're losing main town cities. People are obviously worried. What is the future of Tigray, future of TPLF, TDF? So he tried to send a message to his support base, Tigrayans. Secondly, a message for international community as well, that TDF is not down and out. For Ethiopian government too, Eritrea too, that TDF is not down and out. TDF will fight. So that is why it's better the sides agree to a solution at the table. Message is meant for Tigrayans and meant for negotiators in South Africa. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian PM Abiy today telephonically contacted Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister. The two held talks about bilateral issues and other issues too. African Union's Chief Moussa Faki is due to visit Canada, I think on Tuesday or on Wednesday. Before that, Abiy and Trudeau talked, and talks underway due to start in South Africa, and African Union is leading the talks. Moussa Faki is visiting Canada. So is there a link? Is Canada playing some sort of role in these talks? Though officially no Canadian representative is part of this Ethiopian peace process. Only US Special Envoy, EU Special Envoy, UN Secretary General's spokesperson, representative, African Union mediators, they have been involved in the peace process. We have not heard. But since yesterday, rumors have been going around that TPLF leaders who are in South Africa, who arrived in South Africa a few hours ago, some of them might not return to Ethiopia and they could be taken to Canada. And Canada is going to play a mediatory role of a guarantor between Tigray regional government and Ethiopian federal government. So far, these are all rumors. We have no credible information. Abiy and Trudeau have talked several times in the past, since the start of this conflict in northern Ethiopia. Canadian firms have investments. Canada was investing in Tigray's mining sector, in other Ethiopian sectors as well. Ethiopia is in dire need of economic assistance. financial aid. So it's not that the call was only about Tigray conflict, about conflict in the north, though it might have come under discussion as well. Let's see which TPLF leaders will return from South Africa to Ethiopia. And if some did not return, where would they be taken to? To the US or to Canada? That remains to be. One of TPLF's representatives at the talks is reportedly sick. He's not feeling well. So he might be flown to a European country or towards North America. And Tigray's delegation arrived in South Africa on US Air Force plane. So I think US Air Force plane came to Mekelle, and their Tigray mediators then boarded the plane. The plane then went to South Africa through Djibouti. That is what I think happened. The US is the main player. We are not sure about Canadian role in the mediation so far. But PM Abiy issued a message after his call with Justin Trudeau, and he said that he had talked to Justin Trudeau about bilateral issues. Thank you for watching.